Chally, a trip to Halifax down tomorrow. How's the week been following the loss to Waken?
Yeah, it's been good. Listen, you got to get over disappointments quickly, and we've done that. And what you can't do is listen. You have to reflect and you have to learn, but ultimately you got to move on. It's 3 points that we can't get. We can't get them back. We have to again learn from it, try and improve, try and I suppose right any potential wrongs. And ultimately there's another 3 points up for grabs on Saturday, so hopefully we can go and get them.
2 games in quick succession. How important is it to kind of use these as motivation to spring forward from here?
All the games are important. The first 2 months of the season is always going to be important to start well. I think sometimes, like I say, there's expectation and there's hope for us this year, and I suppose sometimes you can be too overreactive to a loss. We knew we were going to lose games. I suppose the manner of it, again, you can look into a little bit too much. We conceded poor goals. Are we defending poorly? No, I can say that individual mistakes have cost us. So that's certainly easier to rectify. And ultimately, we've got to look at us. I want us to get back to, I suppose, where we've been all the time I've been here, in terms of being more fluent and being free scoring, and not just free scoring. I suppose the creation of chances is the bit we need to get better at. And hopefully the stuff we worked on this week will help us to do that, and you see it on the pitch on Saturday.
Firstly, obviously, is a trip to Halifax. They've had a positive start to the season. What have you made of them?
Yeah, listen, it was always going to be tough for them in terms of things changed pretty late in terms of new manager and squad coming together, but they've started the season well. So again, there'll be another team that I imagine will improve as the season goes on, but to have the start they've had, they'll be obviously really pleased with it. And we know that it's a tough place to go. Big wide open spaces, big pitch, but like I say, a game that ultimately we're looking forward to. You look forward to every game, especially after you've had a loss. We want to get back on the pitch as quickly as possible. I suppose we're fortunate in the fact we've had a week to be able to work on things. That was nearly us. And like I say, hopefully the stuff you do in training is repeated on a Saturday, and that's where the hope is certainly going into this weekend.
Obviously, the Harrogate visit on Monday, they've not enjoyed the start they would have wanted either. So, what kind of game can we expect from them? No,
listen, I've said that in my programme. That was really in that game. I think two teams that did well last season. Obviously, we knocked them out in the playoff eliminator, and both teams probably expectant to do well again this season. I still think that'll be the case. Sometimes, regardless of how hard you try, there's always going to be maybe a little bit of a hangover from the previous season. Plus, also there'll be I suppose reminiscent of us last season. That first season, them coming in, they carry momentum, and you carry that winning mentality into football matches, and also you're a little bit of an unknown quantity. Teams again will have watched them last year, recognised where their strengths and weaknesses are, recognise where you can potentially do well against them, and adapt what their game is. So for them this year, they'll have to be better than they were last year in order to get in the playoffs, as we were, and just exactly the same as us. If we're going to be successful this year, we're going to have to be better than we were last year, because people are going to challenge us in different ways to try and stop us winning.
In terms of team news for the 2 games, is there any players that are unavailable to you?
A few, obviously. Ryan Crosdale's suspended for Saturday and misses one game with his red card. Dan Bradley's probably unavailable. Hasn't trained, got a kick on the calf last week. But aside from that, we're like I say, we're in decent shape. Still looking to add to the squad, but it's important that the ones we add are the right ones. And if we can, like I say, if we can strengthen in areas, we'll do so. But I'm not going to take people in for the sake of taking people in. Like I say, we're not certainly not in any to panic to do things that won't improve us. And we go into the games, like I say, full of confidence, knowing that it's a big opportunity to get 6 points. Although to do that, we know they're going to have to be really good.